When I reviewed the Lofree Flow back in the spring, a user reached out to me in the comments and said, hey, that looks an awful lot like a Nuphy. At that point, I'd never heard of Nuphy, so I started to dig into it, and it turns out they were right. I'm pretty certain that Lofree took a literal ton of inspiration from Nuphy when building the Flow. And so how does the successor to a board that I really, really liked compare? We'll dig into that in today's video, but the short answer is it's really, really good. But if you stick around, I'll share with you my deeper thoughts after daily driving that keyboard over the last 2 months. Let's dig into it. If you're new around here, my name is Brandon, and on this channel, I share practical tips to help you improve your focus and creativity. And if that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on the videos that I post here every other week. All right, back to the video. So why are we talking about this keyboard? What makes it special? Let's start with the basics. The Nuphy Air75 V2 is a 75 key layout keyboard with low profile mechanical switches. It supports 2.4 gigahertz wireless via a dongle with 1000 hertz refresh rate and has full support for QMK. There you go. That's the whole review. Just kidding. Let's unpack the significance of each of those things, starting with the 75 key layout. I've tried just about every keyboard size, from full size with a number pad to as small as 60% layouts that completely drop the number keys. In the past, I've found that 60% is a little bit too restrictive, as I missed having those arrow keys. But over the past couple of years, I've adopted home row mods so that I can use H, J, K, and L as arrow keys. At this point, I think I could do a 60% layout, no problem. But my guess is that's a bit extreme for most people. With that said, if you're interested in learning more about home row mods in a future video, let me know down in the comments below. So let's enter strong opinion time. I think that most users will find 75 keys is the sweet spot between functionality and size. It's especially nice if you split your time between a laptop keyboard and this. Having the same set of keys makes it really easy to switch between the two. Also, the keywell here isn't raised or curved in any way, so it feels very, very similar to your laptop. All right, enough about size. The main reason that you would buy this keyboard is for the low profile mechanical switches. For years, I was convinced that MX style switches were the best that you could get and that everything else was inferior. But today I'm here to say that I officially prefer low profile switches over MX switches. Yes, even Holy Pandas. The ones here are from Gateron and feel great. They're really similar to the kill switches that are in the Lofree, but do note that the pin locations on those are slightly different. So you're not gonna be able to swap between those. You're gonna wanna stick to just the Gateron family of switches for this particular board. When it comes to typing feel, if you've not used low profile switches before, I would sum them up as a more comfortable typing experience by minimizing unnecessary finger movement. Don't get me wrong, they still have key travel, significantly more than a laptop keyboard, for example, but they aren't as fatiguing as the full key throw of a full MX switch. Prior to using them on the Lofree Flow, I didn't really know what to expect. Honestly, didn't expect much. But after a few boards now with these style of switches, I can say that, in my opinion, low profile switches are the way to go. Where I feel that the Nuphy really shines is with its sound profile and stabilizers. I love the look and feel of my drop alt space race, but the stabilizers on that are terrible, even after significant tuning. The sound and stabilizers here are awesome. And if you want to take a listen for yourself, stick around to the end of the video where I'll do a proper sound test. When it comes to look and feel, the case is all plastic, but the good news is it feels good, seems durable, and has this lovely Game Boy Advance style see-through plastic. If you had asked me what I wanted, I definitely would have told you that I wanted an aluminum case, but in practice, I really like this and I have no issues with it. Another difference between this and the Flow is the introduction of these feet. There are 3 height levels, from completely flat to slightly propped up and then fully extended. I personally use it completely flat, but this ultimately comes down to personal preference, and I think there really are no right answers here. When it comes to cross-platform compatibility, the Flow was already really good in this department because you could switch between Mac and Windows modifier positions with a simple key combination. The Nuphy goes one step further by having a dedicated switch on the top for this, and it is so much better. My 10-year-old daughter has recently started playing Minecraft at the gaming PC here at the desk, and she can easily switch the keyboard between Mac and PC modes just fine. There's also a dedicated switch to go between wireless, wired, and off. Do note that the board is smart and will prefer a USB connection if there is one, and then will fall back to wireless if not. It's a little thing, but I really appreciate it. The Nuphy ships with a 2.4 GHz dongle right in the box and supports 1000 Hz polling rate over that. There also are 3 different Bluetooth connections, so you can switch between your computer, an iPad, and an e-ink tablet. And you can do so instantly with a single key press. So function +1 will go to your first Bluetooth device, 2 and 3 will obviously go to the second and third. And then if you press function +4, it'll switch to the 2.4 GHz band via the dongle. Note that you have this nice little light indicator in the top left that will go blue for 1 through 3 and then switches to green for 4. It's a nice little confirmation. The firmware here is top notch and the board has felt incredibly snappy during daily use over the last few months. Even Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz feel great, which means a lot because I can typically feel Bluetooth latency when typing and I've had no issue with it on this board. The other reason that you would buy this board over other boards is this one actually supports full QMK. If you want a custom color scheme, check. Want the backlight to change to a different color when you hold down a specific modifier? Also check. Want crazy home row mods without having to use a tool like Carabiner Elements? Also check. If you want to go down the customization rabbit hole, you've got your on-ramp right here. As far as areas to improve, I don't have much to say here. Other than, yes, it would have been nice to have the option at a metal case, but in practice, I don't find that I actually care. The plastic here feels durable, and I don't feel like it's a downgrade at all. One minor nitpick I do have is in the promotion for this board, they showed it on top of a MacBook Pro. And while that does work, I find that the feet tend to bump the power button on my 16-inch MacBook Pro when using it that way. After you use it for a bit, you'll get a feel for exactly where to position it to not run into this problem. If you're going to use this keyboard like this, be sure to install Carabiner Elements and have it disable the internal laptop keyboard when the Nuphy is connected. For price and value, overall at $120 US, I think this keyboard is a great value. I remember spending similar amounts on Ducky and Ampro boards a few years back, and I find that this is a much better board for the price. The quality control here feels excellent, and the double shot PBT keycaps feel nice and have a great sound to them. It's also nice that they included dedicated keys for Windows and the Mac right in the box. It always bothered me that Lofree put both legends on the single key. Also included are some backup switches in case one breaks down. You also have extra keycaps and a decent enough switch and keycap puller. All right, let's do that sound test. All right, conclusion time. If you picked up the Lofree Flow back in the spring, I still really like that board and I think you should be happy with your purchase. This isn't a situation where I feel like you need to rush out and upgrade. But for those who didn't pick up the Flow and are still interested in 75 key layouts, I think this is the one to get. It has the same core recipe that I fell in love with on the Flow, but nails the details in a way that the Flow just wasn't able to. I would love to hear from you. What is your current favorite keyboard? And what are your thoughts on the Nuphy Air75? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you liked this video, you'd probably also like my original review on the Lofree Flow earlier this year. Go check it out. And until next time, cheers.